Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Kelvin Wilson of We Do Movies and Movies, Food, and Hip Hop, and I'm back with the commentary video. So, this commentary video I want to discuss is about Scarlett Johansson. Now, I can't remember if I did one before. It might have had something to do with diversity, but she was lumped into what I was talking about in that previous video. But Scarlett Johansson just seems to not run away from the controversy that seems to haunt her, or not even haunt her, but just seems that it surrounds her when it comes to certain roles. Now, there was a movie that she did, Ghost in the Shell. Now, it wasn't a good movie at all as far as the live action version that she was in. And that had nothing to do with Scarlett Johansson. I just think that certain animes, because they're so steep in Japanese culture and style and aesthetic and the things that they talk about, I think it's just really hard for an American audience to translate that and then expect an American audience to see it. But the movie didn't do that well, mainly because of the whole issue of whitewashing. Now, Scarlett Johansson has been cast in this movie, which is a biopic called Rub and Tug, and she plays a transgender man who runs a Pittsburgh criminal empire, like fronted by massage parlors in the 1970s. Now, when I first heard about this movie, I said, that sounds pretty interesting. Like, I might go check that movie out. Even when they announced that Scarlett Johansson was playing the main character. And I was still saying, like, I still want to see this movie because this movie just sounds so outlandish that I can't believe that this is a true story or a biopic. But then I started thinking about some other stuff that I've been reading, like comments about this movie, and I know that a lot of people, including transgender actresses, have come out not liking the fact that Scarlett Johansson has been cast in this movie. And quite honestly, I feel them. I feel what they're going through. But I also can side with the filmmakers. Now, in the case of Scarlett Johansson and Ghost in the Shell, it seemed like the creators behind Ghost in the Shell and the film studio behind Ghost in the Shell, the Japanese version, really had no problem with them getting Scarlett Johansson to be in the movie. Because if you look at certain anime movies and television shows, even though it is Japanese, some of them kind of look whitish in a sense. That way, and I don't know if that's the correct way of saying it, but it does go to the point about diversity and how can somebody feel that they're being represented in a movie or in a television show when they're not being really represented. Like, and for the transgender community, I actually feel really bad about this because look at the landscape we're in. We have a show called Transparent, and even though Jeffrey Tambor, I don't know if he's still on the show or whatever, but you have transgender actresses on that show. You have a show on FX called Pose, and everybody's talking about how good the show is. I haven't watched the show myself. I just been watching other stuff and just been kind of preoccupied with other stuff. So, not saying that I won't watch the show, but I have other stuff that I've been watching, some stuff that I put off to get to finish other stuff. But that's just besides the point. me and one of my friends had a conversation about comic book diversity, and a lot of people are up in an uproar because they feel like black characters or gay characters or transgender characters or things that don't look white or represent white is being thrown in their face. And for some and for some points, I can honestly agree with that. But I also believe in the stance of this. I think people do or should have a chance to feel represented. And the more you don't get to represent who you are or bring in roles that can represent not only who you are, but the community that you represent, I really think that's a slap in the face. But of course, like I said, the Ghost in the Shell numbers show that the whole whitewashing thing didn't work. Just like that Gods of Egypt movie. That failed because we all saw the BS and the statement that was made by Ridley Scott. It's like, yes, you can, if you hire African actors and all this other stuff because it is in Egypt and it's African and you put all these multiracial stuff in it, maybe people won't go see it. And that is a possibility. And it's the same possibility with a pose. And it's the same thing with this rub and tug movie with Scarlett Johansson. There is a thing that maybe people won't go see it because there is a transgendered actress in it. But the same can be said, just because Scarlett Johansson's in the movie doesn't mean that it's still going to be seen. I talked about in a commentary video before when Zoe Saldana played uh, Nina Simone in a biopic about Nina Simone. I felt that, and I even played devil's advocate with that. My devil's advocate was maybe she was the right person for that role. Maybe she went in and auditioned and she killed everybody else's audition because everybody was saying, well, maybe they should have got Mary J. Blige or maybe they should have got this person. And I was just like, okay, that could have happened. But now, let's play devil's advocate. Maybe Zoe Saldana killed the audition, and she did better than anybody that was in that room or anybody they saw. Now, the problem I had was they darkened her skin and all of that stuff, so it made it real black faces. But I don't want this to be in that same lane with this Rub and Tug movie. Can Scarlett Johansson pull it off? Jared Leto pulled it off in Dallas Buyers Club, and Felicity Huffman, she pulled it off in the movie that she did. But at the end of the day, Hollywood, even though it seems to be progressing a tad bit more, they need to do a better job at trying to represent people who feel like they are not represented. So I get both sides. But that's just how I feel about it. You guys hit me up on Facebook at We Do Movies and Movies, Food, and Hip Hop. And y'all can see all the reviews and the commentary videos on those pages, as well as the We Do Movies YouTube channel. And until then, we'll see you next time. Peace.